These are some of the pieces from my original prototypes before I reflected upon them, had my tutor feedback and looked at the different potentials in my prints. But what I did find really interesting, and what had started me thinking about changing the patchwork, was actually creating a bit of an energy by layering some of my prototypes. My circle theme, having all the different aspects of circles, came out through my research, came through my mark making, and then looking back at the work of Helen Wells, Sonia Delaney, Kandinsky, and actually looking at some of the different things that I was drawing and stencils that I was using in my printing. These were circles, and creating circles with my tools and my stencils were some of my most effective prints. So this became a main theme for my prototypes. And my prototypes were a combination of all the different materials that I had enjoyed working with and learnt a lot about during this course. So printmaking and different techniques for printing, back drawing on my prints, creating stencils, mark making, but then also working with cement and recreating, working from the surface of bubble wrap, then reinforced my theme of circles, created some of my most successful casting and moulding from a surface prints. So again, using the concrete, which was a material that was completely new to me and I learnt a lot about, and working with plaster. And this was my most delicate technique that I'd used and sample that I'd created, and using wrapping to then add a little bit more depth to it. And what started me rethinking about some of these different prototypes was layering them together, and actually how could I layer them up and how would they create an energy between the samples together. So my prototypes went from laid out pieces to layered pieces that I could combine together, and then start me thinking about how my prototypes could develop from there into something more like using the borrow technique and layering things together. So that's how I began to explore some of my different prototypes, and I can definitely see how they can develop on from there. I gained a lot of knowledge about technique, about method, about sampling, about printing, about casting, through everything that I did in this course. And I was really inspired by my research, and my playfulness and my creativity, I feel, developed hugely over the course, and it's begun to set me thinking about things that I actually want to keep on playing with and things that I want to keep on developing in my sample making.